Let's go. Miksi me ostettiin tää? Ei tää olisi voinut ehkä auttaa meitä itse asiassa.
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything. I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have. Can't say I'm a huge admirer of wild pines, and I can't say I trust any silver-tongued spokesperson of theirs. Fortunately, I have no reason to get involved.
What have you
What
against
should
wild
I
pines?
have for it? No, just people like that make everyone else see the world somewhat askew, at an angle that is convenient for them. Now, you have more questions, or are we? I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business, bad for everyone.
He doesn't know anything.
Se on sit just niin.
The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
You said you'd done it before, yeah?
The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks on display. Looks like he doesn't want to get involved. He won't be your nog, but he won't be thrilled about this either.
If you say so, here you go, man.
Se oikeesti vaan antoi niitä.
Yes, darling. That's the coalition government ordained Parolidon. Straight into your gut.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
I have other business. Psyyke nousee, heltti ottaa. Joo. Ehkä meidän pitää mennä nukkumaan.
Can I help you? Yes. Have you got it? Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow.
Yes.
Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
Aha.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? Another thing. Great. Yes?
Eli joka päivä pitää tienaa 20, jos haluu nukkuu.
You should pick that fat, juicy cigarette butt from the tray, light it up, and smoke the living shit out of it.
Am I a smoker?
Who knows what you are? A monster, a murderer, the gnome of Jeroma? You feel like a smoker, especially when you look at that juicy, succulent, seductive cigarette stub, still smoldering deliciously.
But she broke it at the filter.
How very astute of you. This renders it ineffectual. You should look for a whole cigarette. Or better yet, an entire...
Hello.
Strike that. A carton. Make sure they're all healthy and able-bodied. Then smoke them all.
Tulit just sopivasti, kun täällä meidän äijällä on niksat. Alkoi kädet syyhyä, kun se käveli stökikseen ohi. I should not do that.
Good. Thinking about yummy cigarettes in your mouth is the next best thing. Make sure you think about juicy sticks of tobacco all the time, though. It doesn't count if it's not all the time. And when you're done thinking about them, graduate to getting them. Plus, smoking them gives massive bonuses.
Massiivinen bonus. New task. Find smokes and smoke them. En välttämättä.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Jaha. Cutscene.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Now then, we should talk about the investigation.
Se rupes
But I also
polttaa.
feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically.
I didn't
I
know
have
you
a cigarette
smoked.
every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
How did you get so cool? En mä tiedä, haluanko mä aloittaa tän nikotiinimyrkytyksen. Joo.
I apologize, but I only broke one recently.
Oh,
I have
boo.
exactly one cigarette every night while going over my notes. Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
Miten meni noin niinku omasta mielestä?
Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it. I would say our initial inspection was very thorough, and we have solid leads to follow.
Ärsyttävää, kun tää musiikki on yhtäkkiä niin kovalle, ei kuule tätä puhetta tässä.
Then you shot the body down, which was quite a shot. I admit I wasn't sure whether I should give you the gun, but I'm glad I did. We still have to perform the autopsy, though. But we did do a thorough search of the crime scene. That's great. Now, as for interviews, my list of people to talk to here in Martinez, I mean. Including Everard Clare, a daunting adversary, if there ever was one. He wasn't particularly forthcoming with useful information, however.
He's not saying much on the matter because he thinks you could have gotten more out of Everard.
Claire also helped you, how should I say, remember your name? That's a relief. Moving on. We didn't talk to the Wild Pines rep. We really must do that tomorrow.
No oltiin menossa, mut sit sä sanoit, että mennään nukkumaan.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
Meillä on veressä vielä jotain. I don't like to waste time.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Ravachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental scheme.
Niin meidän pitäisi koittaa sakottaa jotain tyyppiä, niin me voidaan sillä maksaa nämä meidän hotellilaskut. Sehän olikin se meta.
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Ravashol. Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station closely. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
Mistä me tiedetään, että ne tulee
You can't.
paikalta?
Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up. As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power.
Wait, so if I kill someone while on duty...
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best. Yes, the last time was 4 years ago.
He has internalized it well. It's just that. A fact. A self-contained past event.
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. The coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Ravashol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Let's say it was the coalition government.
It's probably more honest, yes. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Or if they think you do.
The moral intern.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
If I didn't know... I really don't know. That's how bad it
Okay.
is in here.
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
What do they believe
What
in?
do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
What is their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something even a little feminine, but in a strict manner.
Wrecked.
Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
Who was Dolores Day?
The historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
What do you
Moral
think of
intern
them?
are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
I have an opinion
Do
on
you?
moral intern. Aha. We are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization. Immigrants, liberal kids, fucking men are turning into women. Ja.
We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes.
Maybe we should. Mitä siellä oli liberaaleja niitä, nyt kohta meistä tulee joku full kommari. Eikö niin kommari me ollaan jo? Meidän pää yritti jo saada meitä aloittaa kommunismi.
Sadly, it is what we already are to the people of Martinez. Most of them, at least, especially the Union. Vigilantes. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
Thank you
It's
for
getting
this.
very cold now. Let's go.
Mene nukkumaan. Yes, I will see you in the morning. Äkkiä hakee ne kengät.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. Before you can grab hold of the boot, you hear a voice coming out of the dead man's mouth. It's the voice of Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, telling you to stop whatever you're doing. You're sabotaging the crime scene, and yet you haven't even finished the field autopsy.
Joo joo.
Come back later when you're done with the investigation.
And yet you haven't even finished the... Häh? Niin olisiko meidän pitänyt hoitaa se autopsi eka ja sit vasta pöllii noi kengät? No ehkä me nyt sen verran voidaan käyttäytyä. Mutta mä nyt sit toivon, kun siinä oli se, että sit kun sen tekee sen autopsi, niin sit se lähettää ton jonnekin. Mutta mä nyt toivon, että siinä jää sit se hetki, että me voidaan ensi iltana käydä pölliin. Go to sleep.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours.
No, se
The
nyt aika
sheets look
comfy.
awful. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes.
Ai että. Unten maille.
And then sleep. And then,
And then
sleep doesn't
sleep.
come.
Oh no, the sleep doesn't come. Hello. Ja mitä sä missasit? Me käytiin juttelemaan mukavia parvekkeella sen meidän työkaverin kanssa. Me teki mieli ihan sikana röökiä. Sitten mä koitin käydä pölliin ne bootit, kun se meidän työkaveri meni nukkumaan. Mut sitten olikin silleen, että älä vielä. Teidän ruumiin avaa seka. Ja pöllikingit vasta sitten. Ja nyt me mentiin nukkumaan. Mut uni ei tullut. But I want to sleep.
Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but it's not happening.
Why?
Maybe it's the bed's fault.
Check the pillow.
Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly. Smells of alcohol and sweat and grease.
Numb. Check the blanket.
It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. A bit tense in the muscles.
Relax. Roll over to the other
It's a little
side.
better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it?
Who killed him? Who? No more thoughts. Fall asleep now.
Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you. until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images
Päästäänkö
start
me näkemään
forming.
painajaisiakin nyt? Me päästään näkemään painajaisia. Yes! Koska totta kai me päästään. Roikkuuks tuolla diskopalla tuolta puusta? Eiku minä! Ja diskopallo.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood?
Oh no. I remember nothing.
Do you remember your wife's hand?
Mitäs
on
tää
your
on jo
face?
oikein? Ehkä. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? You said who? I was left. What?
Do you remember the warmth of her thighs, between her legs and in her mouth?
I was left.
That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go.
Describe your average Friday evening.
Dragged away from you. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours?
Get it all
No,
back.
it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me. You failed Elysium.
What is Elysium?
Everything. The Pale and the Islas. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up.
I can come back from this.
You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours. Bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding?
I'm trying to solve this case.
You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you.
Hei,
A
Ancient
thin,
Reptilian Brain
sleep-like
tulee taas.
state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of...
Day 1 meillä oli krapula ja Day 2 meillä on jotkut vieratosoireet. God, there's another type? New type of hangover.
Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
And then I woke up. Hei, tässä on pullo. Täällä on sikarapulloja. Massi.
Good going, buddy.
Oh my god, what the hell was that?
Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night.
What the hell is going on with me?
Why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
What is this happening?
It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more.
Ollaanko me oikeasti narc?
Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself.
Wait, what is speed? No, I can take this. I am not going to go looking for speed.
Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week.
Viikko
Let's
vaan.
be honest. 2 weeks. Maybe
3
3.
viikkoa, niin?
You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired.
That's a lie. I can do this without the speed. Half the town won't be dead.
Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Minkä takia tää... en mä tiedä. Mulla olisi 2 skillipojaa. Melkein tiedä, että mä tekis vielä ottaa tuota helaa lisää, mut... Find money for rent and pay garte. Find smokes and smoke them. En. Mitä ihme quest? Hei, meidän pitää soittaa takaisin tonne asemalle. Johtuuko se tästä? Ei kai. Enpäs tiedä. Tää on kyllä nyt vähän...
The window stands broken and the morning light hurts your eyes.
Lisää palautettavia pullo. Varmaan tota ei saa. Eikä tota näköjään. Alright. Vaasa. Pitäisikö meidän koputtaa tohon oveen? Haluaisiko tää herää? Ei sitten. Se on jo ylhäällä täällä odottaa. No niin. Union guys. Ohio.
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The Union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them.
Why do we need to talk to
Everything
them?
points to the dock workers union. The belt used for hanging him, tracks in the mud, the circumstances in Martinez, my preliminary information, which may, of course, all be wrong. But we still need to talk to them, and it won't be easy.
What do you mean rowdy?
I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union. These men here, men who drink beer for breakfast. There's talk of an armed wing.
Mitä vikaa?
The Hardy Boys.
Kalja on ihan hyvä
are
aamupala.
responsible for state policing. I think
Ei
it's them.
oikeesti. Älkää. Are these the men Garte told us
I
about
completely
yesterday?
forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said. One loose thread less to worry about. And one big problem to replace it.
There are so many of them, maybe we should call in reinforcements.
That would
Nah.
just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the Debarders Union. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head, okay?
Okay.
One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
Yeah, streetwise. Zoom right past. Do it on your own terms.
Yeah.
But aren't you curious to know what they have to say about the murder?
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me.
Pitäisikö meidän käydä tekemään se ruumiin avaus kuitenkin eka? Ja kysyy itse asiassa niistä kengistä. Ja sit kun me ollaan tehty se, niin sit me voidaan mennä häiriköimään noita.
In the morning light, the white on blue police livery on the motor carriage cannot but catch your eye.
Wait, why am I even thinking about this? Wasn't I supposed to...
Do something important? Something murder related? There's always something important. Doesn't mean you can't take a moment to admire this piece of machinery. This is a Caprice Kanema, the Caprice Motor Corps follow-up
Kiitos,
to the
encyclopedia.
highly successful workhorse Caprice 40 and the answer to the Lums racing breed Ferv series. With its air-cooled, rear-mounted 12-cylinder compression ignition engine driving the rear wheels through a 4-speed manual gearbox, the Kanema is able to reach 100 kilometers per hour in 13.5 seconds and go on to a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour.
Wow. Aika hidas. Won't it roll over in the first sharp corner?
The high center of balance is offset by a large battery bank mounted at the bottom of the cabin, feeding all the auxiliary systems and making the Kanema effectively a mobile power plant.
Sähköauto, mut polttomoottorilla. This tech talk is really rubbing me the right way here.
Due to a quite steep price tag, it is very unusual to see one in police livery.
That machine really puts the loco back in locomotion. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. You want to take a closer look?
What's it packing there?
130.
I reckon that's a 7-liter V12 there.
7-litrainen V12 tommoses rotiskas, herranen aika.
Man, that's got to be a major advancement over the KR18GU engine on the old Caprice 40.
That's what, 7-liter V12?
7.2.
Supercharged. Smugs. A fine machine. Run your hand over the smooth metal surface.
Yes. An extraordinary machine.
It's nice and all, but why so modest? Put some zing into it. Flare it up.
Slam it down. Tarvii polish fitin siihen.
Helium headlights would improve the range and quality of the visual field a lot.
Make it more imposing. Ever thought about switching to helium headlights?
Actually, I have a pair at home. Just haven't gotten around to fitting them yet. I need to lay some wiring for the ballast first.
If we ever get this case solved, maybe we can do it together.
Maybe. Yes, definitely maybe.
Vahva ehkä. Eli
And
ei
means
vissiin.
No.
And means no. Just näin. Okay, let's move. Definitely
Inside,
maybe.
you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Kerro kengistä.
Yes. The armor was produced by Fairweather in their facilities in Bétancourt sur la Clé in 42.
42.
It was part of a special order for Corps de Pharmacie, a security firm contracted to protect the interests of Oranese pharmaceutical companies in the Semenine conflict. So, it seems the armor went to Semenine. That's where the paper trail ends, though. Even the firm has proven difficult to track. Corps de Pharmacie has been renamed several times over in the years since the armor was issued. The most recently registered firm that the ICP has been able to connect to the CDP is a military contractor called Trenel. And the one before it was Downwell. I think they might be the same contractor.
A suit
Vaihtaa
of
nimeä
armor
joka
like
vuosi.
this would have been manufactured with a particular person's physique in mind. You should ask for whom this suit was fitted.
A suit of armor like this would have been customized, yes.
Yes, but the ICP tends to be reluctant to share private sector records. I could try to talk them into it, though.
Yes, please, do try.
Sure. Call back tomorrow.
Aha, taas pitää
Hopefully I
soittaa
will
se.
have more information for you then.
Ok.
57 over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set.
Sitten voitais käydä hoitaa se ruumiin avaus. Hei, what? Mä haluan päästä tonne.
The rotting man lies on his side, with his eyes looking straight through. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Mä saatiin lisää onnistumischanssia tohon, kun me puhuttiin tolle mun unessa. Just.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is.
What you do know is, at
You've done 100 of
18.9
them.
kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Why don't you know? What use are you?
You must have me confused with the Coppapedia.
Who's Coppapedia?
You, sir, you are the Coppapedia.
Coppapedia. Ah. Anna hanskat.
Unfortunately, no.
I have gardening gloves. Maybe they are enough.
They are better than nothing. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things while you will take notes.
We just fill this in, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we got this. We're smart.
Oota. Niinku tässä oli nää. Noin. Yes.
The rotting man, the lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Open your ledger at the field
The
autopsy
dead
form.
man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with
Begin. Number 1. Assistant.
That's you.
Harry Dubois.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says
Coroner case number.
KK57 0803 .0815.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself.
Kello
not
7.53.
That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
He's indexed the case after himself, not you. Write it down. Number 3. Name.
NA. Next.
Not assigned. Date of birth.
NA.
Age.
Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I'm gonna write 42.
He nods.
Race.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mundi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
White-ish.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Number 7. Sex.
Fucky!
Nyt vittulla hiljaa.
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Right. Fucky. A. Right male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Date of death.
We're still going with March 4th. 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
What exactly is treatment
Interfering
anyway?
with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Don't overdo it. It's okay to be unsure.
Se on ihan hyvä. Huh? It's okay to be... I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-Delorian burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
Turn the page.
the corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Why? External examination.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodin, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Babrodin, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
Valkoiset M-bokset.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
Omit the boots.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
Write it
Tattoos.
down.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo resembling a microelectronical circuit board. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Come over. Touch the corpse's hair before moving on.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet.
Stroke his hair gently.
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a rag doll's head. There must be brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil.
Keep petting him.
More hair sticks to the glove. Hair off the rain-soaked head of a dead man. There are bumps and dips on the skull below. An alien landscape. For a fraction of a second you feel something. An irregularity. But then it's gone. Too minute to register in your mind.
What was that? A bump?
What was what? Brilliantine. There's brilliantine in his hair.
Ooh, meni ohi. Write it down, adding the brilliant.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno
Arvasin.
doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyesters. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
Steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Good thing we got this. Oh yeah, I'm prepared.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the yeast. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
Nyt ei kusta tätä 70.
After
Yes.
some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. Snap! The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
Mikä on huono prosentti, mikä on mennyt läpi? En mä edes muista, mutta se oli joku tosi huono. Sitten se meni ihan säkän läpi. Mut sitten on myös se joku 80%, mikä ei mennyt läpi siinä jossain vaiheessa.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia...
No! It's gonna happen, see!
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable.
Unremarkable.
No evidence of injury.
Inspect.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
Noin. Nyt ollaan kuultu kuvaus peniksestä ja kiveksistä. Kirjoitetaan se ylös.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
Hei, se taistele takas.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
This scarring is extensive, way more than a law official's.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars. Last item, hands.
Pick up the hand.
Feels heavy, filled with decay liquids, like it's ready to explode if squeezed hard enough. You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
As 5 cold sausage-like fingers slip from your hand.
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Number 2, internal examination. Summary.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add the moral of this story. Yes.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply. I'll write anyway.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not
Ai niin, tuli tosta
related. Eyes and tongue protuberant.
mieleen,
Ivory
kun
bone. Let's see.
kaveri alkoi pelaa tossa sitä Cyberpunkia, niin ilmeisesti siinä tulee ihan sikana, niin kuin siinä tulee joku superiso pätsi sit, kun se tulee se lisäri. Ja se korjaa kuulemma ihan sikana siitä pelistä sitä kontenttia. Kun oli puhetta siitä, että onko se saanut sitä korjattua. Ja siinä patchissa on kai, tai siinä lisäri aikana tulevassa patchissa on vielä sillä, että se tulee kai siihen base gameen kanssa. Eli tavallaan siitä normipelistäkin tulee parempi, sit kun se lisäri julkaistaan. Eli vaikka nyt se nostaisi tosta alesta, niin sitä ei kannata pelaa ennen kuin se lisäri tulee. Eli joutuu vähän odottaa, mutta ehkä mä ostan sen silti tosta alesta odottamaan.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it. Gently, a rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Ugh.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Look inside the dead man's mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the
Eli
darkness
Cyberpunk ja
inside.
sit kun se DLC tulee.
It's humid there.
Jep.
Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up.
Mutta eikö siinä ollut joskus
straight
syksyllä
in
se
that
vasta
mouth
se
of his.
release? Look deeper.
It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking. Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness. Silence as always.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
Write it down.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why? Don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder and bile ducts.
Am I an expert in those
Nothing
things?
in your alcohol-soaked memory directs to having forensic expertise on either one.
I don't think so.
Neither am I.
Right, and
Same for toxicology and serology. And
Both?
unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there.
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
Would obscure tidbits and odd trivia fit the fields? The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Add toxicology
Cardiovascular.
request.
The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
This is the last field on the list.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
Write it down, omit the voila.
What's next on the list?
Description of injuries. Summary.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Non-fatal post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Write it down.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Non-fatal.
Right. Next.
What's the 4th injury field for?
Nothing. Just in case.
3. Ligature mark.
A dark red
Bleh,
ligature
ligature.
mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
Tää nyt on vähän nihkeä, kun tekis mieli vaan laittaa joo, koska se on se obvious. Joo, se kuoli siihen hirttoon. Mutta se voi olla, että sillä oli se joku kuhmu päässä, että se on hakattu jollain putkella eka, ja sit se on vaan ripustettu semituoreena.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
First, how did it go?
Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath. We were thorough
What
with the
else?
list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
What now?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
Rig out a copy of the autopsy pages.
For processing.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Stop wasting time, you're smart. Established probable cause. Felt a little bump on the head. Tätä mä just rupesin miettimään. Fuck. Inland Empire ja Perception. Otetaan täältä vähän silleen kokeillaan. Eiks meillä ole 3? Oh. Missä on Inland Empire? Se on täällä. Tosta. Ja sitten toinen oli Perception. Sitten jätetään 1 poja.
The man is decomposing visibly. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Hei, nyt tässä on jo hyvä chanssi.
The fish lips stay silent in response. You must be losing your mind.
I told you, he is male, 40 to 50, with an athletic build.
Ei, en hyväksy. Käytetään toi meidän extra poja tähän.
The man is deep. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
83, se on pakko onnistua. Yes! Where have you gone?
Into the wild pale yonder.
Where is that?
In the past. Way out in the west.
I can see your gun, but who are you?
I'm a joke. Look at me.
You are now, but who were you when you... There's nothing funny about you.
There is nothing funny about jokes either.
Who were you when you were alive?
A killer. motherfucker and a killer.
Selvä. I have another question for you.
Go ahead, Cobbo.
Cabo, what is happening?
What do you mean?
I'm talking to you.
It's the power of your imagination. Go ahead. Ask me more questions. You fucking love questions.
Why do I love questions so much?
You're a copperoony. Look at all of them go. Do you want more questions?
Yeah, give me questions.
Here you go, you loony.
Is my name Rooney?
Fuck no. You're no Rooney.
Rooney is not who I am. I'm Harry.
No, you're not a Harry either. You're a motherfucker. That's who you are. Rooney the motherfucker.
Why do I feel like I've forgotten something terrible?
Because you have.
I hate you. You stink and you're boring.
Do I remind you of someone?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
Myself in the bathroom mirror. A baby affected with harlequinism.
You sure I got out of that one? Coppellini. Do I remind...
A child born with Muller's disease.
Myself.
There you go. Look at that bright kid. We're birds of a feather, you and I. Soon you will be just like me. Just keep drinking and having a good time. It's a matter of weeks.
Feeling nausea, vomiting, tenderness or pain around the liver area, tiny red lines on the skin above waist level, more like days, Coppo. The clock is ticking. Your liver tells you so.
Maksa sanoo box.
Come back later, Coppo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also see me in your dreams.
Se kun me mentiin ja sanoi vaan, että se hirttäytyminen oli, se olisi pitänyt jättää pois, koska sitten tänne tuli tää. Mä tiesin, että se ei välttämättä ole kuollut siihen.
Shoot, Looney Rooney. Do I remind...
A child born with Muller's disease.
No, not quite. Be fair now. Sure I do. You just come back later, Coppo.
Onnistu.
Amuse...
Your arm reaches out, your eyes close, as if by that cold
Kyllä.
It's dark all around. You feel cold.
Vittu mikä
bare
tsägä.
flesh through the latex glove.
Toi on nyt varmaan pieni, mikä on onnistunut.
Palm of your hand.
17%, huhhuh.
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a rubber spider, your gloved hand crawls on his features. Everything is silent, all around.
Crawl up his nostrils.
They are swollen shut. You need to really push to get in.
Push.
Only the little one fits. The flesh changes shape as you bore in, searching for something in the cartilage.
The fuck is he doing?
The thing you're looking for, it's not there. Crawl out, spider.
Put your fingers in his mouth.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like
Moist.
tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track.
Play with it. This feels right.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums and in the back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in
Open your eyes.
A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from his throat. And there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Abrasion color.
Abrasion collar.
Kuno is silent.
Touch it with your finger.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat.
Sitä on ammuttu mun aseella suuhun. Uskokaa tai älkää.
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
Numb.
The fuck is happening?
Ah, shit, see?
Feel around first.
The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again. Never wake.
No, ja. Push deeper.
Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. This is what he used to regulate his emotions with.
There's a cavity cut right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Push deeper.
All the way
We
in
need to
now,
go there,
reaching
better.
toward the inside of his skull.
Ugh.
The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
Wriggling.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger.
Bullet.
Ice cold serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex and into your finger.
I feel a solid object right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
This is a red check, it cannot be retried. No, mutta siinä on aika hyvä chanssi onnistua kyllä. Inspect the skull first.
There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it, from the inside. The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium. This is the irregularity you felt before, the one that was too tiny to register consciously.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet.
Interface fish. No niin, 97. Please. Kiitos.
You pick the object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
Slowly pull your fingers out.
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth. The garden glove is covered in blood right up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower. A blossom made of lead.
Luotti.
Fucking beautiful.
A bullet.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber. Rifle. Some kind of brittle alloy. fractured on impact. No, you deserve it. We can log it later. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4.
Onneksi jätettiin se
Overentry
4.
wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity, temporary cavity in brain tissue, small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Sounds about right.
Opinion, fatal injury.
Agreed.
And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3, ligament mark. New opinion, non-fatal, post-mortem, treatment.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
The ligament marked the fractured head, but it was all treatment.
Yes, and the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Dead, dabba doop doop. Agreed.
I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. There have been other signs too. Small details. Everything is too neatly designed for us to assign probable cause here, as we did, full-heartedly. Well, no more.
Kävit säkä?
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot
And hanged. Who would do this?
That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier.
Why would anyone do this?
To hide something. The real killer, the real motivation, what really happened here.
The plot thickens, as they say. Maybe the bullet holds more answers.
We should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
I think I need to wash myself.
You really, really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
What happens next?
We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day. Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Great work, detective.
Yes.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You can do side tasks and even the main case, but it might be more difficult. Plan his exit accordingly.
Mä tarvin oikein tosta vielä. Sehän meni nappiin. Hyvä me.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny, shriveled head of cauliflower.
What do I do with you, bullet?
What?
I said, what do I do with you,
Well,
bullet?
if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say find the weapon that shot me.
Good idea.
If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our...
Mut se on se mun ase kuitenkin.
In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
Feel the bullet through the bag.
The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge.
Yeah. Inspect the bullet closer.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
Look at the jacket.
You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard.
And the core?
It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
It's a jacketed bullet, close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is
Se ei olekaan se mun ase.
very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
Something tells you that won't be anytime soon. This'll have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while.
This is a white check. Voidaanko me koittaa hand-eye coordination? Katsotaan. Pystyykö mä... Onks tää... Ei oo ainakaan miinusta siihen, mutta voidaanko me saada plussaa? Ei näköjään. Tällä on maanantai ja tiistai questit erikseen. Hand-eye coordination. Kävisikö meidät säkä?
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a rifle.
Lol.
Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theatre of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago.
Is anyone still making these rifles?
No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling.
Who uses Belmargrave rifles these
Antiques
days?
enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for a well-preserved antique, most likely.
Meidän pitää käydä siellä pawn shopissa kysymässä.
What are you thinking? Bullet?
I think I know where this came from.
Okay. And?
The shot probably came from a Belmargrave
An
rifle.
antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Revachol, really.
That's probably a good thing.
I have to hand it to the monarchs. It's quite admirable that they took the advice of criminologists last century and banned the use of breech-loaders in peacetime. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle-loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Makes you consider every shot. I like it.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier.
Yes.
But back to the investigation.
This is America. Seems... Yes, something... Seems... Could the victim have been mixed up with some foreign... have well-armed jamrock bangers started crossing over? Something mysterious is afoot.
Mysterious? Okay. Either way, we'll know when we find the gun. Okay. And an antique. That makes sense. I have to hand it some new...
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement.
Imagine if... But back to the investigation.
En mä tiedä, noi on niin jotenkin kaukaa haettu.
Okay.
Locate working firearm that shoots 446. Yes. Se meni hyvin. Hullul tuurilla kyllä, mut...
Necromancer pig? That shit was dark. Going in there like that. Oh, brutal shit. Tell me, Kuro dies. You're gonna pick one out of his brain like that too? Kuno's gonna go out in a hail of bullets. Gonna look like a fucking porcupine.
He saw you find the bullet. Joks tää onnistuis?
It's not Kuno.
Oh yeah!
It's Kuno S.
Mitä? It's not Kuno, it's Kuno S. Interesting. How?
Kuno S is by far the worst of the two. Kuno has no problem being near you, but the other hides behind the fence, afraid for her life, like she's done something very bad. She came up with that psychopathic scheme of screaming for help before. Kuno just wanted to talk to you about his name. Kuno S was the one who wound him up and directed him. Also, Kuno hasn't stopped talking to you, even enjoys it from time to time. When you talk to the other one, it's like talking to a cornered animal. She only hisses and says murder was the case that they gave her. And then there's the fact that she's a girl and appears to be a little younger, certainly smaller. And yet Kuno is afraid of her. What's up with that, Kuno? All in all, Kuno respects madness. You cannot hope to outdo her on that front. You must win yourself a few minutes with him alone.
Act on it, try and separate them. Kuno, psst.
Fuck you whispering about?
He's whispering too. He's going with it. But watch what happens.
Fuck you whispering about!
She puts extra stress onto that word, expecting it will make you uncomfortable.
If Kuno wants to whisper, he's gonna fucking whisper, okay? Let's whisper, pig.
This is it. You've got him. But be careful.
You can still
fuck this up. Don't make Kuno look bad in this.
What's up with her? She's terrifying. Crazy scary.
Crazy? You don't know the half of it. She's not crazy. She's insane. Dangerous. She's smoked a man. She's done people in. Probably even pigs.
Mitä?
Stop talking to him! Kuno, I'm fucking warning you! You're gonna get us into shit!
She understands what you're trying to do.
Yo, see? Did Kuno not tell ya? Kuno told ya. Kuno talks to whoever he wants. Talk, pig. Kuno's got it under control.
You did it. They're separated. He's even turned his back to her so she can't read his lips. Fuck. She can read lips. You should cup your mouth.
What's that language she uses?
Yeah, she's psycho. None of that kiddie psycho. Cat burn and shit. She does the real deal. Yeah. Snuff radio shit. Believe me, pig, you don't want to know.
And he doesn't even want to think about it. This isn't just another boast.
Wow.
Yeah, she would have liked to fuck him up, but she didn't. Kuno wasn't around, and C was with Kuno. Look, Kuno's gonna put you at ease. We didn't do it.
He speaks the
Tää
truth.
Kuno olikin ihan ok tyyppi. What do you mean she smoked someone?
Kuno means she killed someone. That's right. C's a killer. Like, actually a killer.
His little green eyes are fixed on yours. He's meant everything he said before, but right now, he not only means it, he is sincere.
Killing is serious shit. Kuno's always serious about the 488.
488. The criminal code doesn't go higher than 190.
She's probably killed a pig too. I mean, I'm pretty sure she has. Forget Kuno.
How many
said
cops?
That. Kuno was just shitting. Kuno was just running his mouth. Kuno's stupid like that.
A cop would be too large for her to overpower, but a determined child of her size can still kill the vulnerable.
Onks tuolla muksul meidän ase?
The homeless, or other children. The creature peers at you both from over the fence. There is something searching in her eyes. Kuno falls silent, He does not look at you when he replies.
Kuno, that's what Kuno is starting to think, yeah?
He usually looks you straight in the eye. A little something just crumbled there. Don't move your head. Just from the corner of your eye, look at her.
Look at her.
Though her friend spoke too low for her to hear, Kuno S is not smiling anymore.
Kohta tulee pistoolista. What's that language she uses?
Fuck knows. She says it's the Song of Her People or some shit.
Song of her people.
Lazy people. The fucking Nakis. I don't know.
Yes.
It's Suruese. The Suru are an indigenous ethnic minority in the social democratic powerhouse Vasa on the tundra and tiger-covered Isola of Katla. Far, far away from here.
The
As far as
Vasalaiset.
possible, really.
Could she be Suruese?
Suruese? Like that man from Helmdall shit? She could be. She could be that Helmdall shit.
Revelshot does have a small Suruese community, or she climbed into a yakberry crate and was shipped over accidentally.
Is she your sister?
Fuck no, she's not my sister. She's just a stray who got in, like a mad dog or some shit. Yeah, she was just there.
Apartment building behind the
What
fence.
was that, Kuno?
She was in the hallway, dripping wet, by the fucking shoe rack, in the dark. Kuno's
Why
got
was
no
she wet?
fucking idea. Her hair was all wet. I think she pissed on the floor too. She was there for 3 days, in the corner, every time Kuno went out.
You said she got in. How?
I don't know. Someone left the door open. Kuno comes home and she's sleeping under the desk, under the pile of clothes, like a dog.
What about your parents?
Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit. Doesn't even see her there, or thinks it's fucking Kuno. Shit's all on Kuno.
How are you dealing with all of
How's
this?
Kuno dealing? Kuno's dealing just fine. He doesn't need you fucking with any of it. C doesn't either. Kuno's got this shit under control.
Nice. Okay, kid.
No, it's not okay. C is Kuno's go-to. Kuno's protecting her. You fuck with C. You fuck with Kuno. You threaten her. You threaten to take it away.
This is what it all comes down to. He needs you to take him seriously now.
I'm going to kill you. I'll run when you put the cuffs on her, sneak up on you later, and fuck you up. You understand?
I can respect that.
Alright, now we can do business.
Business?
Yeah? What do you want? Kuno can hook you up with...
Oh, don't hook him up with shit, Kuno.
See, relax. He respects the Kuno. Kuno made him respect the Kuno. You respect the Kuno, you get all kinds of shit. Kuno's gonna get you hooked on illegal narcotics if you run a little errand for the Kuno.
Me saatiin dealer.
Get you hooked, pig. Get his hook in you. Then Kuno gonna get you hooking for more. Cash in big style. Hey, cooker. That's right. Kuno's a candy store for pigs now. Get ready to be rewarded.
Selvä. Okay, I'm off.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Ihan pikkunen breikki. Tuun kohta takas. Ray. Onko tällä jotain uutta sanottavaa meille nyt?
I'll die before I squeal, pig. Murder was the case they gave me.
Ei selkeästi.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Ei si. Toin tuolla katolla. Ei kun hetkonen. Ootas. Tällä me ei puhuttukaan sitä aiemmin.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
Hello. I am the law.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book? It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's
Lautapelejä.
called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Books, postcards, easy. Even a kid would know all of this.
Nah, it feels inappropriate to lecture this girl.
Don't be a fool. As an expert, it's your duty to tell what you know to everyone.
Don't tell me what to do.
Sir, are you okay? You've been standing here silently for a while now. Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
What is your
My
name?
name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock. Feel free to step in and browse our wares.
And you're standing out here in cold because...
I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance and biographies of famous people.
Such a good trooper you are, already learning the value of hard work.
Thank you, sir. I'm happy to help Mum out with the store.
Shouldn't you be at school or
I do
something?
my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running.
What is school anyway? Is it going to school more important than this?
Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed.
Yes.
There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette.
How's the
Mum
business?
says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders.
Cursed? In what way?
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go...
Ass up. Bankrupt.
Exactly. But we've been doing fine so far.
Face down, ass up. This sounds rather serious. I should probably look into this. I don't think curses are
They
real.
shouldn't be, but they seem real.
Ei oo.
Anyhow, they say that these
Monka
grounds are
tos.
doomed for businesses.
Oltaisko me tarvittu Vergiliä tohon tekstimuodon peittämiseen? They say that these grounds are doomed for businesses. They're not doomed, but your mother should learn from their
Of course, sir.
mistakes. Nah, see ya. I am the... Hirveä määrä tekstiä. You memorize the title. Lose 87 Radio City. Seems important. It takes willpower to even read the author's name. Jan Kaus. Jan Kaus. Is that Loose Radio City you're reading?
Yes, a sci-fi. Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working?
Shouldn't a working class woman be working?
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read.
Good, good.
It is.
I'm a policeman.
I know you are.
Everyone can see that. The rectangles.
You need the good then. Vittu good stalk. Mä oon kyttä, kyllä mä sen tiedän. Kaikki sen tietää. Tiedäks mä? Hyvä, et sä tiedät.
What with?
What with? A lot of things. For example, people tend to go missing.
That's all. Moi pitää mennä. Ei jaksa. Mun pitää mennä kerää pulloja. Ei oikeesti, mun pitää mennä juttele tälle naiselle. Ai niin. Onks meillä nyt artistista silmää tähän?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Cindy's artistic impulses are infectious, mut silti 8 pinnaa, eli ei. Getting reserved for residents of who the same Chislak. Your room in the whirling, is it much bigger than this loop?
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good morning, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will. Gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode.
Unusual medical episode.
Very but I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
Medical episode. Pitääkö sittenkin rupea kutsua ryyppäämistä medical episodiksi?
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is a tactic. It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
You're in a boat.
Why, yes I am.
Not a lot of people on boats, are there?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
Wait, we're on an archipelago?
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
Technically,
Kylo.
the neighboring Ozone and Fas Alamer island groups are archipelagos, while La Caillou, by contrast, is a single fertile landmass, the 4th largest island in the world. It is not an archipelago.
Wait.
Okay, if you want to get technical, the point is we're all on islands here, and sail is still the most expedient way to get from one island to another, especially when you're in a hurry to resolve a strike.
Still, haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol. between the city and the islands.
Yes.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich.
Yes.
Before you do, it would be pertinent to ask other questions. Gather more info on this boat of hers.
Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
Okay, but what kind of boat is it?
It's a pleasure craft. A
Pleasure
19%.
craft.
It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing.
A race boat.
Though these days I mainly use it for business. My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying
Mika?
this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Do you have a license for this boat?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly Fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further on this.
Let's talk about the economics of this boat.
Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Yes.
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator?
Then what does that say? Does it say docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A?
Yes.
33A, this old proletarian haunt here. As I said, plenty of people drive boats, of all social strata.
It's the eel's heels.
Your synapses flesh.
There doesn't seem to be much space left with this 19-page loop docked here.
Yep, that's the stuff.
Good thing everyone else has tiny skiffs.
I assure you, they drove quite the hard bargain for this space. But you're right. I am a bourgeois woman, and this is my long, incredibly lightweight, interminably bourgeois boat.
Bourgeois? Okay. Tell me about Wild Pines.
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole.
Huh?
It's a giant undertaking.
Eikö tän koko pointti ollut?
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
So what do they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
Who are the other Indo-tribes?
Saint-Baptiste, LUM, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Ah. You're in good company,
Why,
it seems.
thank you.
How much money does Wild Pines have?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
Oh, olispa rahaa. That's it?
And to think, there are years when the group books losses in the billions. Wild Pines employs 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on their salaries. It is a tremendous responsibility.
Oh, where does Wild Pines get all these billions?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet
Piti puhua siitä
conducting trade between the
lakosta,
Samoan
mut
and Insulindian
me tehdään tää
250
due diligence.
years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
It probably helps to start out with the royal monopoly.
You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed, or been absorbed. To survive, wild pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that.
What does such a huge system want with a place like this?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
8% of all cargo in the world? That's quite the endeavor indeed.
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
What can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
What if I want to hear about trade
First,
secrets?
you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
An octopus? I will slay it.
Good luck is only kept in place by the vested interests of half the civilized world, including your own.
What the ma'am means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
Okay.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
What is your role in this?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Yes.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Oh, you mean Measurehead?
Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead.
So the strike is connected to the lynching.
Yes, I believe there is a connection. But that's a subject for later.
Ha! Oistu kertonut. How were the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
What happened to this Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Fuck off! Okay then.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
What are their
There are
demands?
leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
I like it. I don't know.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Marseille terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
The workers can't be kings. The king is king.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start.
What are you going to do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out. No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines group has more effective channels of information. After all, 2,200 people are on strike. This is a big deal for them.
The scabs at the gate, did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the union refuses to?
Don't let her answer it herself.
No, I'm in scabs.
If these workers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Yeah. What do you think of Everard?
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe?
Let's go stab him.
A rapier.
You sound like you're about to take a rapier to him.
Oh, heavens no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin.
That's Everard,
He is
alright.
the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Ooh, I remember hearing something about this Edgar.
Have you seen him?
No.
Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over.
That's
how
it.
they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the union itself, outside the brothers, Claire?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate.
A mob.
Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Giant leech, sucking the life out of Revachon. Basically a socialist mob.
Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers.
Yes. One more thing, you said something happened in the elections.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence, Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name, and I don't have access to the union's files. Indeed.
Some kind
The
of extortion,
company suspects
probably.
foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, man. We'll be just fine.
That's all I need here. Let's change the topic.
Of course. How else can I help?
Oh, vitsi. But I've talked to
You
Everett
have?
Clare.
And how did you like Mr. Clare?
Onpas... En mä kyllä hirveästi tykännyt siitä.
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Or wait, actually, corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic, worm-like corruption.
Worm.
Reaching into the bowels of the earth.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM does not pick sides.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt worm myself.
Worm.
However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Ei.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Ei kiitos.
Of course, detective. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
What can you tell me about this lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves.
Ei mulla on
I
mun
am Lieutenant Kitsuragi
lätkää.
from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
Oh, and what happened to yours, detective?
Remember when my partner told you I'd recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything. This world, this city, nothing.
Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Red check. Ja.
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
Surely there's some other way to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Like what?
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and
I
resources
have no
might turn over the right
authority.
stones. Or you can recover your badge, though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excuse us?
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Bruta.
Brutor. The what? What is my lower intestine going on about?
Lower intestine? The term is metabolic and circulatory system.
Okay, but what's the hard stuff?
Fascism, Bruta.
Mitä? What is?
Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachol's problems?
I thought you were my circulatory system.
Quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing. The weak link.
Financiers?
Yes, them. But also, wormen.
Worm. What?
Wormen. Men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woo men need to go back to the fucking kitchen.
Anteeksi, mitä?
That's
lähti vähän laukalle.
boils down to. The rest is also important.
But the main thing
is that woo men need to know their place.
Am I having some kind of stomach seizure?
Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth.
Why am I getting this?
Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times.
Oh no. Fascism sounds so bad though. What if we called it something else like traditionalism?
Okay. Yes. Let's call it that.
Okay.
That sounds much better. Traditionalism. You like the sound of that. You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota.
Absolutely not.
There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment.
Hetkonen. Niin tänne on tullut joku tämmönen. Mut sit missä? Niin täällä näkyy. Niin meillä on 7 pinnaa kommunisti. 4 pinnaa fasisti. Mielenkiintoista. Ai niin, mun piti jutella täällä.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman.
Oh, so we're henchmen now.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
Boo.
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
We could just, find my badge.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence.
You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months.
No, just nää.
I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's just quick to adapt. She's a professional after all.
Professional.
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must.
Mitä tää nyt sit ulisee?
Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union, or that we're on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
Yes.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Tell me about this drug
It's
trafficking.
quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isla into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Ooh, Katsu. Let me get this straight. The materials come from Samara to Revachol through to Terminal.
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
The lorries.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they're vulnerable.
How convenient that they're stranded like beached whales at that roundabout.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in bright daylight, upstream where it's clearer.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Uncovering the Union's secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
Yes. Why didn't you come to the RCM earlier?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded there like that, is it?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
What proof do you have that the Union is
How do you think
involved?
they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
So you think the strike is being funded with source ingredients for drugs?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
Mielenkiintoista. Okay, I've made up my mind about the smuggling investigation.
Yes?
We will take this case, probe the drivers, see what it yields.
Excellent. According to my reports,
The
there
jam
are
mystery.
at least 3
Mystery
lorry
Hill.
drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Yes. Kerro mulle näistä
That's the man
tatuoinneista.
who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
So you know something
Better
about the
not tie the
tattoos.
forestay to the batstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the... Better not tie the forestay to the batstay on this.
What?
I hope that's the man who was killed. Better not tie the forestay
Oh,
to the
God.
batstay on this. Of
Thank
course,
you.
detective.
Mielenkiintoista. Tuntuu, että on vaan lisää deadlineja.
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the door rattles against your knuckles, but there's no response. The door rattles again, but this time you hear an elderly woman's voice calling out from inside.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside.
Hold on, who am I speaking to?
Who I am.
From within comes the faint sound of a broom sweeping across the concrete floor.
This is the police. Open the door.
The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already told you. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door. There must be another entrance to the east.
Okay. Backyard door. Niin se on varmaan se. Tuntuu vaan niinku tätä tekemistä vaan kasaantuu. Ja sit kaikessa joku deadline. Ja mitään ei kerkeä saamaan aikaiseksi. Oi ei. Just like in real life. Ketä nää?
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape.
René, you're a man
René.
with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration.
Onks nääkin
You're
kuljettajia?
old. I can see that. We're both old. Now stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
These manly men are playing balls.
Balls.
This is a ball.
Ball.
Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never.
Alright, I got this. Ball time.
That's the spirit. Don't even waste your breath asking about the game. They wouldn't know anyway.
Acting without
They're
hesitation.
way past their prime.
Yes, yes. I play.
You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter, you'll make it work.
Feel the
The
ball.
cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it, probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered with bumps of learning and scars of victory. Already, your muscles are adjusting to the weight, the nervous system calibrating, until you and the ball have merged into a single entity. The man ball is ready.
Välillä mä mietin, mitä tässä pelissä tapahtuu oikeesti. Take in the surroundings.
A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the only thing left is the union of man and ball.
Let's go. Be the ball. Miksi sä sen sinne veteen heitit?
Merde! Bordel de merde!
A whorehouse of shit. It wasn't whorehouse of shit. The shot was at least 23 meters, probably 24, and then some. Nothing to be embarrassed about.
What the hell is your problem?
Not a weak right triceps, that's for sure.
I don't care if you are a cop. You do not just ruin someone's game. It's so goddamn disrespectful.
I'm sensing anger, and I don't understand why.
You vandalized our game, son. We can't play petanque with 5 bull.
Oh, petanque. I understand.
No, you don't. Our petanque game is ruined. We want our bull back.
Take it easy, René. This is just a misunderstanding, isn't it, officer? No harm done.
Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. You owe us a goddamn bull.
Bull. Okay, I will try to fix this.
Good. Mistakes are forgiven when men at least try to right their wrongs. I believe you will try. Now, why did you approach us?
Yes, why did you come here? It's unlikely they know anything about the murder. You never know. He might know something. This is a good vantage point.
René, I found your guard booth.
Yes. The Debardiers union pays me to stand vigil during the night.
Ah, toi
Not
se.
out of any political allegiance, mind you. I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight.
I saw a picture in there. You were in it. Who's the girl?
She is nobody. This is none of your concern, and I refuse to discuss my private affairs with the RCM.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
You must have seen something. On the night of the murder, your booth looks right into the yard.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday.
What? Why are you on a leave?
It's a private matter. Nothing to do with your investigation.
You see, officer, René is the kind of man would rather die than admit he needs medical assistance or, God forbid, sick it. A real man's man is just gonna ride it out.
I'm fine, goddammit. Mind your own business. It's nothing. Just got to cut back on coffee.
So who was working your shift that night?
No one. The boss has been unmanned since last Monday. There's no other guard. It's just me.
No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday.
Yes. It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officer. The container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before René. Monsieur Claire had that booth built specially for him. It's mostly decorative.
Mostly decorative.
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabiniers' pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated Kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
René should rent out his services, invest the profit, get few more guys, expand and repeat. Wage work is a dead end. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Tare collecting. It's my side thing too. Proudly hold out the Tare badge.
I didn't mean to imply there's something wrong with that. I do it too. Everyone does it. It's an excellent side thing.
Yes. Can we conclude the topic of my guard booth now?
He is not going to become an entrepreneur.
Got it. Thanks.
Yes. Like I said, I would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. It keeps my senses sharp.
Do you know anything about the man hanged in the backyard of Whirling in Rags?
Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement. But this affair has passed me by completely.
And most of the locals?
In Martinez, the union is the law. So can you really blame them?
But you don't have a problem with cops.
Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets.
He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics.
Politics. So, again, you don't know anything.
If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I'm an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me.
'Tis true, sire. He knows nothing.
Oh, God. You seem to be playing in a crater.
Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game.
Was there an earthquake here?
No. It was left by heavy artillery fire.
Okay, it's a crater left by artillery fire, but why?
What?
Why was heavy artillery used?
Because that's what happens when communists hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home.
Yeah. Did you use artillery fire against them?
Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda.
What?
And mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't so, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
It was probably a bit more complicated than that.
Why seldom here in Martinez?
Because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up first.
The
Yes.
beachhead.
The military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta.
Deathblow sounds grim.
This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing petanque on their mangled corpses.
Nami nami.
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Is that why everything is so bummed out?
Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course, they still all influence.
Oh,
You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... What do you think?
Thinking men have opinions on these things.
Present one.
I'm sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains,
Nami nami.
I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned through Revachol, or even if that damn clan Frisel had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with.
What? How does Philip III factor into this?
It doesn't. That was 100 years ago. Ain't got nothing to do with anything.
Okay. Who was this Frizzle?
Damn Frisel. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. He died in the hands of the Hyperlay, in a very public execution.
He slouches as he says that. It makes him smaller, admitting they left the king to the mob.
Tää jäbä saa kohta sydärin, kun mä puhun tällä. You mentioned Guillaume.
A true king in both blood and mind. Led Revachol before Frissel. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile.
Some manner of self-deceit is present in his thinking. Sounds like this Guillaume abandoned him, and he doesn't want to admit it.
What exactly is a suzerain?
The suzerain is the king. Has everyone forgotten already? They forgotten already. It's no use.
Älä sitä hengiltä haastattelee. Menee jo.
You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire.
Ei vitsi, tosta tuli miinuspisteet tähän yritykseen tosta, että mä heitin sen bowlen tonne jörpekkoon.
Ah, yes. King Philip III on his steed. A reminder of what Revachol once was.
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule.
How should a true king rule?
Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood.
Powerful leaders, not afraid to do what must be done. That's what this country needs. Seems to be a leader should take care of his people before himself.
Revachol would be a different place if more people realized that. We could still be there.
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
The carabinier doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform. It's a symbol for him.
What was that about cocaine?
Oh, old Philip was a big fan of the purple nose candy. The nobility loved
Purple
so
nose
much.
candy.
A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. His egocentricity is borderline legendary.
You can't even take the responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? That's why the Philippian kings use cocaine for clarity of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainum. Revachol's finest years.
Rain with cocaine.
Of course. Clarity of vision. Awareness.
Philippe III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court made him administer the dose to his mother when she was in labor, and it is well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms.
Higher realms. Of course, it all makes sense.
Nyt nämä sisäiset äänet rupeaa taas haluttaa tätä kokaiinia.
He's just making excuses for the king's habits, isn't he?
What was that about higher realms?
It's really not. Please, do spare us the cocaine fairy tales.
Yes, indeed. We're not here to investigate the drug trade of centuries
No
past.
ok, puhutaan jostain muusta. 28 pinnaa, ei kyllä onnistu.
All you observe is a veteran refusing to let go of the past and his old uniform. This is not uncommon.
This is the uniform of the Royal Carabiniers in service of Frissel I, Guillaume le Lion, and the valiant King Philip V before him.
Don't you mean Frissel the Fan?
You do not speak his name, Craven, although he was a clown. But he was our clown, ours to ridicule and to mourn.
Hän oli Pelle. Mutta hän oli meidän Pelle.
There's something you missed. You will get to it. Don't worry.
No johan oli keskustelu. Tuota. Mitäs kello väittää? Tulee 10. Fire trucks leading onto the roof. The slush and rain has almost washed them off. What? Ihan kuin joku olisi ajanut autoa tuolta. Sewer grate. A gateway to the river of filth.
There are clothes inside. Cheap second-hand clothes, smelling of strangers' body odors.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality fabrics, best retro design. Save the economy with your style, officer.
Save the economy? That sounds off.
Browse through the
find
box.
your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester blends that make your body itch and sweat in all the wrong places. The box smells like cat piss or like an old person with no money.
Economical, but also trendy. Look first-hand, buy second-hand. Keep the economy moving.
Find something worth salvaging.
Something cold grazes your hand. Synthetic and sleek. A windbreaker. Surf, it says, but also wind, summer, 100% waterproof, and sport. All in different typefaces.
Totta kai.
Good choice, officer. Mega sporty. And it's only $4.50 for you, sir.
+1 composure, -1 shivers.
You see two lowly, defeated speakers, thralls, slaves basically, perched atop them like...
I can see you've a taste for luxury, officer. Can't keep your eyes off those sneakers?
A pair of Faun Ultras. The design is impossibly sleek and simple. A futuristic silhouette with a sleek monochrome colorway, a jet black upper, and a silver-lined midsole. Dedicated, victorious, sporty. These Faun sneakers are a must-have for a track and field legend.
Those sneakers, mister. Those sneakers are the latest Faun sneakers. Super air, super fine, super cool.
Ihan liian kalliit.
Only? That's madness. Faun Ultra. Wear the future. You remember the slogan from some magazine. These once respectable speakers have been conquered, reduced to a mere prop by the indomitable Faun Ultras atop them. A small heat emboss on the veneer reads, Solidarity Aid from the People's Republic of Samara. The speakers themselves don't seem to display any magical qualities.
No, don't look at the speakers, officer. Look at the sneakers. The sneakers are the stars here. These, officer? These speakers are Samaran garbage. I'm ashamed to even use them for props. Don't waste your time on them.
Samaran trash? That sounds like they're from the Samaran People's Republic, produced under the dictatorship of the proletariat.
Joo. Food gift from the people of Messina.
There's a pile of cheap sunglasses in a small box.
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the latest styles right here.
These are all boring.
All boring.
Third-rate ho-hum sunglasses made of cheap Syrahese plastic. The kind of plastic that melts in the sun. Those UV stickers are almost certainly just there for the show. If anything, these lenses probably direct more UV light into your pupils. A UV magnifier.
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, super material, very cool, UV resistant.
Maybe...
These will definitely keep your eyes safe and cool while doing your dangerous police work.
No luck. All you find is this lime-colored cellophane visor, produced by a bargain sportswear brand called Amphibian, apparently. There's a malformed green frog on its bent cap.
Oh, that visor is perfect for you, officer. It'll definitely keep the sun out of your eyes while you're shooting criminals. Bang, bang!
Hey, at least it might actually offer some protection against the sun. Not like those cheap plastic shades.
Nah.
You don't like it? Sure, Square Joe. No.
Leave. Käydään dyykkaa vähän roskista. Helpline to the company that controls the drawbridge. Tuota. Käydäs kaupassa palattaa vähän pulloja ja sit mä luulen, että mä varmaan lopettelen tältä päivää. Kello alkaa olee.
The tear machine stands in the corner. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying.
Meillä ei ole kyllä vieläkään varaa meidän seuraavaan yöhön, mikä on vähän nihkeä. Paitsi jos me myydään noita roskia, mitä meillä on. No. Replaceless mode. Similar looking metal sphere. Hei, meidän fasistipongat on noussut. Oh. Meillä on myös boring koppi nykyään. Tuota. Varmaan tallennan tähän ja lopetan. Jatketaan ensi kerralla lisää. Milloin se sitten ikinä onkaan. Mä menen tekemään iltapalaa. Hei, hyvästi ja hyvää yötä.